we're going to look at this area next, which is just north of the depot. And the way the MP got in here was to come out onto the GNC line and then reverse into here. And the GN also had rights to switch these businesses. This is what they call a reciprocal switching agreement. And they had to get, you know, all the train orders and all that sort of stuff. So if we take a look there, this is the zoomed in map. Here's the depot, Eclipse Mill's over here, and so you now got these businesses. So we're going to start here, and we're going to go up this side, over here, down, and then we're going to look at what's on this side of the street. So this building is still here, barely. This building is still here. These two buildings, these three buildings are here. This is not, this is not, this is not. And I don't think that building's there either. This is already gone. This was torn down in 1957, so that's why it's a dotted line even in this map, as that is too. Okay, so let's look at some photos. So just to kind of give you, will this zoom in? Yeah, okay. So we're looking, here's State Street, and this is, what is this? Chestnut. This is Chestnut here, and this is Hewitt. So we're looking at these businesses. So this is the first one we're going to look at. This is Greystone of Everett. This was a concrete. Here's the NP spur coming up, splitting into two tracks, going between the buildings and stopping just before you get to Hewitt. This is part of the Western Farmers Association. As you can see, it was a great time to this photo be taken because now we know when this was torn down, because you can see the building's already half apart. This was also the Farmers Association. This building's still here. It was recently sold again, I think, wasn't it? And wasn't this like an artist building in the 80s? They tried to revive it once and didn't really get very far. You would probably know this building as Riverside Roofing because that's what the big sign on the building is, but that was actually after it was the Farmers Association. This is the new Farmers Association building built in, I think it's 59, is over here. And it's not in this photo because it wasn't built yet, but it's occupied this area. And then over here, facing Hewitt, are the two furniture buildings, furniture businesses these days. They were actually grocery wholesalers in this time frame. And then you've got Everett Milling Company, which we'll look at, and you've got the Robbins Transfer Building, which I've got some neat photos of here as well. All right. So this is a bird's eye of what's there now, pretty much. This was taken, I think, in 2009, again, from Bing Maps or Google Earth or something like that. So you've still got the milling building, you've still got the two grocery buildings, you've got Riverside Roofing, and that's about it in that block. And you've got the Farmers Association building over here, Co-op. So this is just some of the Greystone buildings. These are from the property tax photos, Snohomish County property tax photos. This is basically the office here. You'll see a better paint job on it here in a minute. This is the office, and then this photo this is the office, and here's looking at, so the street's right here. This is Chestnut. This is their elevator for whatever you're using it for. This is the back side of it, so this is the office building looking from this is the tracks you can see here. And then this is looking at it from the other angle. This is looking southwest from the northeast corner of the property. And then here we can see it better. It was painted up nicely by the time you get to like the late 60s for this photo. Had a little catwalk to get across because the ground dropped off quite a bit here. And as I said, this building's still here. This was a big deal, Everett Milling. There was a lot of hoopla in the paper when this was built. In fact, this is an ad, a pseudo ad. You know, the newspaper got free coverage, right? So this was opening in May of 1947. It'd be nice if this building could be restored with this original lettering. I just love that kind of stuff. I think that's painted red today, the building is, I think. This is next to it, north. This is the Robbins Transfer Building. Again, thanks to Jack for this photo. This must have been on opening day. They were, would you call it a drayage business, I guess? Is that what that was called? You know, you basically hauled stuff around town in horse-drawn carts, and they later transitioned to trucks. But for some reason, they had this huge horse mural, and we think this is about when they moved in, which was 1909 when this business was built. And there's some peculiarities here because the business was here, and then but the first time we ever see them writing to the MP and asking for a track was like 4 or 5 years later. So it was kind of weird to build a building next to the railroad track and not actually ask for service. So we're not sure what's going on with that, but whatever. Again, this was very cool, all this lettering here. Yeah, exactly. There was a tavern over here, though. What was the name of that tavern across the street, Jack? Do you remember? Castle. Rainier. And then Kentucky was over and up, wasn't it?
Rainier.
Yeah. So here's Robbins Transfer. Again, this is another cool George Simonson photo with the Farmers Association building in the background now, Riverside Roofing. This is getting close to the end of its days. And then these photos he took, we think it was George, they were in his collection anyway, took in February of '87 as it was in the middle of being demolished. Again, this is the milling building next door, but this is the front looking kind of northeast, looking kind of southeast, and then the north side of the building, you can see the tracks here splitting to go to the two grocery businesses. And then, unfortunately, it's already kind of in sad shape here. Yeah. I don't know whether it collapsed and then they tore it down or whether this is like they had started to tear it down but the equipment's out of the picture. It's a little unclear. But clearly the city wasn't going to allow that to sit there like that, so I'm sure it came down very, very soon after. To the first grocery business. This was Pacific Grocery Company originally. Although early on, this is actually where Robbins was, and there was like horse-drawn stables and things, and then they built the brick building and then moved next door, and the grocery business moved in. So these are some wonderful ones Jack dug up for me. Do you even know where you got this photo, Jack? Yeah. So this is looking southeast across Hewitt at the business. After Lee bought it. Lee's in the next business down, and in the mid-50s they bought out Pacific, and both businesses were under the same business. This one became a retail, and the other one stayed wholesale, from what we can tell. Here's a nice color photo. Isn't this a great shot? And so which tavern would this have been here?
That was the Rainier.
Rainier.
These pictures were taken by Harry Nestor Sr.
Okay.
Actually,
yeah, I'd love to.
or the public library.
Oh, great. Great. Okay. And this is the Robbins building here and the Everett Milling building here. Oh, yeah, Rainier. There you go. Nice sign. And then today, looking down Hewitt, kind of uphill. Is this Castle here?
Yeah,
that's the Castle on the other side of Chestnut. This is looking southwest across Hewitt at the Pacific building. And there's this little thing here today that connects the two buildings. This is where the railroad tracks stopped. They were coming up from this way. And this is the original Lee building here, which you can see there. That's the original Lee building. And then this is the east side of the original Lee building. And then this is down the block now, down State Street, right where it ends. This is the Washington Co-op Farmers Association building. Was an egg co-op originally. Those of you who've researched Everett, they're all over in the business directories. They were quite a thing for many years. This is from early days, but it's the only photo that really shows the building in great condition, so I sneaked that one in there, even though it's way before the time frame of the presentation. And here now you've got a photo I took in about 2009. It was not being used for much in those days. You see they've changed the front totally. And now this is fairly recent. Last time I was there, they had taken the siding off the building. They were trying to, I guess, maybe upgrade the insulation. I'm not sure. But inside is really cool. Jack snagged some pictures off the internet when it was up for sale. But look, the massive timbers in this building. It would just be a wonderful, wonderful place to have different kinds of businesses. So I'm really happy to see it. It looks like it's going to survive. Just massive, massive beams. They don't make them like that anymore. And then this is right behind there. This is the building that we saw in the early picture where half the building was off, where they were dismantling it in 1957. So this is the only photo I have of it actually mostly together. And then this is the building we were just looking at, the co-op building. And then this is the building I mentioned to you that's back on Hewitt that the Farmers Association built in 57, I guess it was, not 59, 57. This is during the opening of that. And that building's still there today. Looks a little different, but it's pretty close to the same.
Why would that car?
Right there? Yeah, well, we can arrange trips back in time for a low, low price.